It's a big day here in India because a new set of laws has been rolled out, laws that affect every Indian citizen. Criminal laws, there are 3 new ones now. The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam. All 3 were passed in December last year by India's parliament. They have replaced colonial-era laws. Now, if you're into courtroom dramas, you must have heard of them. IPC or the Indian Penal Code, CRPC or the Criminal Procedure Code and the Indian Evidence Act. These 3 do not apply anymore in criminal cases in India, only the new ones will. I guess the obvious question is why? There is a symbolic and practical reason. More than 7 decades have passed since India's independence, yet our laws dated back to colonial times. So clearly it was time for an overhaul. It was time for Indian laws made by Indians. And that's not the most important reason. As time passed, India's laws have gotten outdated. Some provisions and procedures did not make sense at all. So reform was the need of the hour. Most legal experts and political parties agree with it. There was a need for reform, but they disagree on the specifics, on what kind of reforms, on how these laws were drafted. The opposition says that there was not enough consultation, but the Home Minister of India has pushed back. He says the issue must not be politicized.
इतने बड़े सदियों के बाद हो रहे सुधार को पॉलिटिकल कलर देना मैं मानता हूं ठीक नहीं है। मेरे तो सभी विपक्ष के साथियों से विनती है, पॉलिटिक्स करने के ढेर सारे मुद्दे हैं, आराम से करिए पॉलिटिक्स, कोई चिंता नहीं, हम भी जवाब देंगे। मगर ये कानून देश के 140 करोड़ नागरिकों को संविधान का जो स्पिरिट है, न्याय और आत्मसम्मान, वो समय पर दिलाने की एक एक्सरसाइज है।
Let's take a closer look at these laws now. What are the main highlights? Number 1, the new laws recognize murder on the grounds of caste or community. It is now considered a separate offence, distinct from other murders. Lynching is also a separate offence. The Supreme Court had asked the government for a new law, so the government has included it. Highlight number 2, new rules for organised crime and terror. Earlier, these provisions were spread across different laws, for example, the UAPA. States like Maharashtra had their own region-specific laws. The idea is to do away with all of that, to centralize and simplify the rules. Highlight number 3, penalizing intercourse via deceit. Say someone made a false promise of marriage or promised a job or hid their identity to have sexual relations with a woman. Then this law will kick in. The maximum punishment is 10 years in prison, but some legal experts are concerned about this. They say even consensual relations could later end up being criminalized. Highlight number 4, extension of police custody. The CRPC was very clear about this. An accused can spend 15 days in police custody. After that they must be sent to judicial custody. Now, this time limit has been extended from 15 days to 90 days, 90. So the cops can keep an accused for up to 3 months now. Again, there are concerns about this. More time in police custody raises fears of torture and tampering. Highlight number 5, focus on speedy justice. Charges must be framed in 60 days. Trial judgments will have to be delivered in 45 days. Highlight number 6, inclusion of community service as a punishment. Now, this mainly applies to small crimes like petty theft or defamation. Earlier, these offences carried jail time and fines, but now community service is also an option. The laws do not specify what service, so the decision is up to the judge handing out the verdict. Maybe street cleaning or volunteer work. Highlight number 7, zero FIRs. Now, FIRs are first information reports, as you would know. When you file a complaint, the police fill out an FIR. But jurisdiction is sometimes a problem. Each police station has its own area of operation, its own jurisdiction. So beyond that, they may not file FIRs. But that should not happen anymore. Zero FIRs can be filed at any police station. Jurisdiction of the crime does not matter anymore. Highlight number 8, sedition has been removed as a crime. Instead, a new provision has been introduced. It talks about offences against the state, basically treason. So while scrapping sedition is welcome, the potential impact of this new provision is still unclear, and some experts say that it's equally draconian. Highlight number 9, intercourse with a minor wife will be considered rape. Again, this was a long pending issue. The earlier laws only banned it for brides below 15 years of age. But this one rectifies that. It provides justice to brides aged 15 to 18 years. And finally, highlight number 10, trial in absentia has been introduced. Earlier, you could record evidence in the absence of the accused, but conducting a trial was not allowed. It was only permitted rarely in cases of UAPA. But that's not the case anymore. Trials can now be held in absentia for certain crimes, meaning people can be tried and convicted without finding them. And this does happen in other countries, but it's a first for India. And we've only mentioned 10 highlights here. Laws like these will take months to get used to. All new cases will now be registered and tried under the new laws. The first one was filed in Gwalior today. As for the old cases, the cases that are already on, the old laws still apply. I know it sounds a bit complicated, but that's the nature of overhauls. They consume time and effort. On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Let's start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Eric Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.